Dang. Hello and welcome to this. Tonight we have our first request, and it is from my mom. And it's a bit of a tearjerker. So, just keep that in mind. If the tears start to flow, let them flow, I say. We're going to be reading Old Doc Brown, written by Red Foley, but it was also read by Johnny Cash, some may know. He was just an old country doctor in a little country town. Fame and fortune had passed him by, though we never saw him frown, as day by day in his kindly way he'd serve us one and all. Many a patient forgot to pay, although Doc's fees were small. Though he needed his dimes, and there were times that he'd receive a fee, he'd pass it on to some poor soul that needed it worse than he. He had to sell his furniture, couldn't pay his office rent, so to a dusty room over a livery stable, Doc Brown his satchel went. And on the hitchin' post at the curb below to advertise his wares, he nailed a little sign that read, "Doc Brown has moved upstairs." There he kept on helping folks get well, for his heart was just pure gold. But anyone with eyes could see that Doc was getting old. Then one day he didn't answer when they knocked upon his door. Old Doc Brown was lying down, but his soul was no more. They found him there in that old black suit. On his face was a smile of content, but all that money they could find on him was a quarter and a copper cent. So they opened up his ledger, and that they saw gave their hearts a pull. Besides each debtor's name, old Doc had write these words, paid in full. Old Doc should have a funeral, fine enough for a king. It's a ghastly joke, our time was broke, and no one could give a thing. 'Cept Jones, an undertaker, he did mighty well, donating an old iron casket he had never been able to sell. In the funeral procession, it wasn't much for grace and pomp the style, but those wagons loads of mourners, they stretched for more than a mile. We wanted to give him a monument, we kind of figured we owed him one, 'cause he made our town a better place for all the good he'd done. We pulled up that old hitchin' post where Doc had nailed the sign. We painted it white, to all of us it certainly did look fine. Now the rains and snows have washed away our white trimmin's of paint. There ain't nothing left but Doc's own sign that's getting pretty faint. But you can still see that old hitchin' post as if it answered to our prayers, mutely tellin' the whole wide world Doc Brown has moved upstairs. Oh man, a tearjerker. I tried to warn you guys. Old Doc Brown has moved upstairs. It makes you think about good people. And when I think about good people, I think of all of you. You poetry-loving pieces of gold. Listen, man. What I say yesterday, I said tomorrow's Monday. Here we are. We made it through Monday. And when I'm wondering, here's what I'm wondering. This is what I'm wondering personally. If we can get through Monday, what can't we make it through? If we can make it through Monday, what can't we make it through? We can make it through Tuesday. We can make it through Wednesday. We sure as hell can make it through Thursday. And then once we're at Friday, baby, we're at the weekend. And then you'll party with the souls that you love most. And we'll do it all again, because that's the beauty of life. To address some comments that I've received since the last poetry reading. A friend, Juliet, she said, "Hey, you don't have to eat a think bar like a pill. Eat Greek yogurt. It's just as much protein and it tastes way better." Juliet, I appreciate that. Maybe I will check out Greek yogurt. But the thing is, here's what I didn't tell you. Sometimes in the morning, I like to have a muffin. And in my mind, I have to earn the muffin. And to get the muffin, it's like a metaphor for life. You gotta get through the think bar to get to the muffin. You gotta get through it. That's a poem right there. You guys kind of got two tonight. You gotta get through the think bar to get to the muffin. Another comment. My brother, Rory. He says he would rather have 10 hours of this instead of 15 minutes of his science class. Now, as much as I am a champion of education, I get it. I've been there. So Rory, I don't know when I will do it, but you have my word. I will do this for 10 hours straight. At some point, I will make 10 hours of this at one. It could be years from now, but it's coming. Alright, we're already at 5 minutes because Old Doc Brown was kind of long. But you guys have a good Monday evening. Hope you watched a show with your family or played a game or went for a walk or had a long day so you just fell asleep next to your pets or something. And we'll see you tomorrow. Good night.